Kardashians are very good friends with Diddy, and they've been connected to him for years. Now, starting off, there's one photo that was released of Diddy, Paris Hilton, and Kim Kardashian all together at one of Diddy's white parties. Now, this was taken in 2006, 1 year before they started filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So even before they really rose to fame, Kim was still seen with the star. Why? Well, Kim worked for and was good friends with Paris Hilton. And Paris, being a young socialite who loved to party, was always at Diddy parties. I mean, in 2008, Paris even spoke out about attending Diddy's first ever party in 1998, saying it was iconic and everyone was there. So if Paris was there and Kim was chasing fame, then there's a connection there. Kim's then boyfriend Ray J was also really good friends with Diddy. We've all been around him, at least in my era, and have looked up to him. And this situation is super unfortunate, but it's important to learn a lesson right now and ensure that the next generation understands how to move differently with transparency and integrity, he continued. The artist said that although the previous generation of performers needs to be accountable for their behavior, I don't think this is a time to tear anybody down. We've never seen the stuff that's being said and the stuff that people are finding out. Like, I've never been in rooms that people are talking about and I never knew they existed, he said. But is that true? It seems like we won't know, but the fact that Kim is connected to all of this is shocking. Although Khloe can't remember exactly what she did for the star, she remembers being in the studio and running around. Now, in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was even revealed that she went on tour with Diddy when she was an intern, which is honestly just a little weird, and Khloe has been spotted at multiple Diddy parties since then. Now, there's also been another resurfaced clip from Keeping Up with the Kardashians from 2014, where Khloe tells Kourtney about attending one of these parties. In the clip, Khloe tells Kourtney that she was with a bunch of her friends, which includes Diddy, Quincy Brown, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. I haven't been to bed yet. I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., she shared. Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked. Kourtney was unfazed about the comments on partiers stripping down at the bash, and then turned to Khloe's friend to ask if she had met her sister's new crew of friends at the party. No, well, kind of, the friend replied, to which Khloe jumped in, snapping, stop talking. When her friend then tried defending herself, telling Khloe that she hadn't revealed anything, Khloe ordered her friend to stop talking. Now, 2 years after this, Khloe then invited Diddy to appear on her Cocktails with Khloe series, where she continuously praised the star. Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff, she said. We've been known to party with you a few times. Now, turning to her sister Kourtney, who was also taking part in the episode, she continued, "You were just at Puffy's birthday." Yes, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too. That night was fun because all the girls ditched me, so it was just me and the boys. It was me, Kanye, Corey Gamble, Tyga, and we were all just hanging out and it was fun. I loved it. Khloe added, "I don't know how you have all the energy, but that's who you are, and that's why people are so drawn to you, because you're so electric. No matter what, no matter how much you work, you don't sleep, you don't do anything, but that's just you," she said about Diddy. Now, Diddy's friendship to the family was still going strong 3 years later, as Khloe posted pictures beside Diddy and her siblings, Kim and Kylie, on December 16th, 2019. She posted photos from Diddy's 50th birthday and captioned the post, "Nothing like a Diddy party." Now, the post is still up today. But a resurfaced clip of Kanye West calling out Diddy has been going around, as Kanye used to be really good friends with Diddy, but that all changed. 2 years ago, in 2022, Kanye claimed that Diddy was working with law enforcement, and that's why he was getting away with some of the stuff he was doing. In the interview for Drink Champs in 2022, Kanye called out celebrities for allegedly working with law enforcement to turn on other celebrities so they could avoid prison. Now, one of the celebrities he called out by name was Diddy. Now, the whole interview was eventually deleted due to some offensive things that Kanye said, as it was 2022, and this is when he was having what appeared to be some sort of breakdown. But with people now digging this interview back up, his comments about Diddy hold more weight. Kanye said that Diddy is making deals to keep himself out of trouble. The reason you gotta talk is because you did a deal you effing fed. That's why you've gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promised you're gonna go pull my card, he said. Now, a lot of people didn't take this seriously as Kanye was acting insane around this time and was honestly just full of hate, but it seems like he might have been right about this. Now, in the end though, Diddy was arrested, so if he did have a deal, it didn't really work out. Now, in 2022 as well, Kanye posted texts between the two of them, and one included Kanye saying, "F you, you fed." So it seems like Kanye knew that there was something up the whole time, and am I saying that we should always listen to whatever Kanye West says? No. Definitely not, but maybe he had some points when it came to Diddy and pop culture. Now, old selfies of Kris Jenner and Diddy are resurfacing as well. Corey Gamble, Kris's longtime boyfriend, also plays a role in this drama. Now, as a reminder, Kris and Corey have been dating since 2014. Now, people worry more about whether Kris is caught up in Diddy's drama and whether Corey is involved as well. In an episode of the Juicy Scoop podcast, which Newsweek reported, Spencer Pratt from The Hills discussed the drama, saying, "The new conspiracy theory on TikTok, which I'm sure will end this week because she'll pop up on Instagram, but Kris fled the country. No one has seen her since someone raided Diddy's house. Supposedly, she and Corey are on these tapes. This is all allegedly, it's what TikTok is saying. If they ban TikTok, where will we find all these stories?" he said. However, since that podcast, Kris has participated in a handful of events and has also uploaded a handful of posts on Instagram, so who knows if it's true. A lot of people believe that Corey must have some knowledge of what was going on, claimed a source. The insider also noted that he totally denies these allegations. However, it's been said that Kris has already started to plan her family's rescue in case things get dirty for her daughters. It's all very ugly and very embarrassing, and Kris is scrambling to distance them from all of this and distract everyone, but that's going to be impossible if they get called to testify. Another source said all these years they bragged about partying with Diddy have of course got everyone assuming that they were somehow involved in these depraved freak-offs, the source said. They then asserted that the family had no idea the sorts of twisted things he was up to after hours. Now, chatting to In Touch magazine, the insider continued, "Now they suggested that Kris Jenner is presently scrambling to distance the family from all of this." Now, starting off, we have Dancing with the Stars. Yes, Kim was once a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, and it did not go well. In 2008, she appeared on the show and paired up with professional dancer Mark Ballas. They were eliminated during week 3, but not before Kim had tried her hand at twerking. Yep, you heard that right. Now, she later joked about her awful dancing skills during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, in 2015, Mark opened up about the partnership in an interview with the Orlando Centennial. "She wasn't the best dancing partner. I love her. She's awesome. We became good friends," he said. Dancing was not her thing, but she's a great girl. Next up is her get up and work comments. In March 2022, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe Kardashian, alongside their mother Kris Jenner, did an interview for Variety. Now, during the interview, Kim was asked to offer women in business advice, and she responded with, "Get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." Now, her sister Kourtney chimed in as well, saying, "That's so true." Now, this outraged fans, noting that both sisters were born wealthy and were given a head start in life. Now, Kim would soon regret saying this as for the backlash and for the memes. Variety then posted the clip to TikTok, gaining over 3.3 million views in 6 days. Now, it was probably one of the most out of touch comments Kim's ever made, and it's just gross because her family agreed with her. Now we have the Marilyn Monroe dress. Kim wanted to stand out at the 2022 Met Gala, and what better way to do that than wear an iconic dress that was worn by Marilyn Monroe. Now, although it was a moment in history, it caused a lot of problems. When Kim arrived on the carpet, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. Now, following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. All of this, though, got covered up with another scandal scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, she denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damages as a result, and frustrations have been renewed. Scott Fortner, a collector who works to authenticate and verify Monroe memorabilia, shared photos of the dress taken that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric, along with missing crystals or ones left hanging by a thread. Then there's how the crew was treated. Now, reports have surfaced that the Kardashians were very kind to the camera crew when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first started in 2007. However, as the show progressed and the family gained more fame, their kindness and respect for the crews they worked with dwindled, causing unpleasant and unfriendly moments behind the scenes. Now, according to The Sun, the Kardashians repeatedly berated crew members and made unreasonable demands on anyone in their path. Additionally, the girls often try to direct what happens or demand multiple reshoots of simple moments on the show to place themselves in the best light they can at the expense of the rest of the family and crew. Not to mention, the Kardashian housekeepers claim the girls never cleaned up after themselves, yet expected their rooms and closets to always be camera ready. Now, while there's no doubt that the Kardashian women are busy with their show, some have argued that they don't have the right to be so demanding of the housekeepers who help tend their homes. Now, this even led to a lawsuit in 2021, as reported by NBC News, with 7 workers claiming that Kim failed to pay overtime, cover expenses, and provide legally mandated breaks, while expecting them to always be on call to pick up after her. Moving on to getting booed. Kim Kardashian appeared at Tom Brady's roast. Now, the roast, which aired live on Netflix, is now missing some notable footage from when Kim first took the spotlight. Live viewers couldn't miss the crowd's boos after host Kevin Hart introduced her, but in the version currently available on Netflix, Kim is greeted exclusively by applause. Now, as Kim makes her way to the stage, the audience's only audible reaction is applause, as it was in the original broadcast. "Thank you so much, Kevin," she says in this edited version, as she then makes a joke about his height. But that's not what happened in real life. In the live broadcast, when Kim made an earlier attempt to deliver that first joke, it was interrupted by significant booing from the crowd following the initial applause. Now, after saying, "I know a lot of people make fun of your height," she looked away from the teleprompter with irritation. All right, she said. Now, on Netflix, the roast includes a message that says, "Edited from a previous live stream," but people who saw the stream live know what happened and were already talking about it online, as it wasn't a secret. Now we have her music career. Back in 2010, Kim decided to try out a career in the music industry. In 2011, she dropped her debut music video, Jam Turn It Up, but the music career of Kim was very short-lived, and it was the first and last song that she sang. Now, Kim had worked on the track with some very talented people and had revealed that a portion of the proceeds from the song's sale would be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. However, the song did not turn out to be very successful. The New York Daily News had called Kim the worst singer in the reality TV universe. Kim never sang again, except for her mom Kris Jenner's birthday celebration music video in the year 2015. Now, according to Rolling Stone, Kim had revealed on an episode of Watch What Happens Live that she regrets singing the track. The reality TV star revealed on the show that making Jam Turn It Up was a memorable experience and allowed her to raise money for cancer, but that she considered the track to be her biggest mistake. Now, she further said that she does not like it when people do things they are not good at, and for herself, she thinks that she does not have a good voice to be a singer, therefore she should not have sung the track. I mean, it appears that it was for a good cause, but still, Kim did horrible, but at least she can acknowledge that. Now let's talk about her acting debut. Yes, you might not know it, but before Kim starred in American Horror Story, she had a role in the 2008 comedy Disaster Movie. Kim starred alongside Carmen Electra and Vanessa Milano before she was slammed by a meteorite. Now, as expected, the movie only got a 1% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, during an appearance on the ABC reality show Big Fan almost a decade after the film premiered, Kim revealed that she's not particularly proud of this one. "I'm mortified if you have the clip," she admitted. "I can't watch." And yeah, I can't blame her here. It was a rough watch for sure. She had no business being in that that movie at all. Then there's She Stole Kimoji. David Benson was a software developer who worked with Kim on her Kimoji. Now David and two colleagues invented the Kardashian-themed emoji range, which resulted in thousands of downloads a second and the app supposedly generating $1 million a minute. But they didn't see a cent after their deal fell apart, as Kim and her no-nonsense lawyer Marty Singer gave them little option but to walk away from developing Kimoji, losing out on a fortune. Now David sued Kim for $300 million in 2019, claiming she stole his idea and ran away with the trademark. David and his colleagues had initially agreed on a deal with Kardashian's team for a profit share on Kimoji and an anti-cyberbullying app that they created called Censorgram, which Kim was eager to be the face of before the deal went south. Now David says he was forced to withdraw his $300 million lawsuit as his legal fees spiraled out of control along with the rest of his life. Now David said he's got nothing left to lose and has created a website called www.kimkardashianruinedmylife.com to spread his message and raise money. Next up is Kim getting kicked off stage by Prince. On Prince's Welcome to Tour, which saw the legendary artist perform over 80 shows from 2010 to 2012, traveled across North America and cemented his legacy with a series of critically acclaimed shows. Now on the final night of his Madison Square Garden residency, Prince hunted for someone in the star-studded front rows to join him on stage. He then spotted Kim and asked her to join him and immediately began dancing around her. Now for those of you who don't know, Kim hates dancing, so why she agreed to go up on stage, I don't know. She laughed nervously while standing in place and clapping for him before Prince instructed her to get off my stage. Now Kim later discussed the incident during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I was just so nervous and I was just like laughing. To my defense, like, didn't Prince watch Dancing with the Stars? Like, I'm not a good dancer. Now following this moment, Prince and Kim would never meet again. He never forgot her performance on stage with him, as he refused to take part in an episode of New Girl alongside members of her family, according to Zooey Deschanel. Yikes. And lastly, we have Kim's lost earring. One of the most iconic scenes in Keeping Up with the Kardashians history is when the family was vacationing in Bora Bora in 2011. Kim was with Kris Humphries at the time, and he threw her into the ocean while she was wearing her clothes. Kim then noticed that her $75,000 earrings she was wearing were no longer in her ears. She then began crying and turns hysterical. When her sister Kourtney finds out what happens, she iconically exclaims, "There's people that are dying, Kim." Now Kylie later found the earrings shortly after Kim lost them, but Kim's bratty reaction would last forever in a meme form. Now Kim explained years later to People magazine why the earrings caused such a reaction. 4 years for my birthday, I buy myself a birthday present and I had upgraded that pair of diamond studs. Worked really hard, I had just gotten them and I didn't insure them, and imagine if you don't insure something and it's gone. I just threw that money away. Then she defended her reaction during E's 10th anniversary special in 2017, telling viewers that while she could see Kourtney's point now, people just don't realize how much those jewels meant to her. Kim Kardashian is feuding with one of her sisters again. She's been called out by Khloe with her shady Instagram posts, as the pair have been fighting on the new episode of the Kardashians. Now in the most recent episode of the Kardashians, the sisters clashed over Khloe's parenting, with Kim suggesting that Khloe's 2 kids rule her life. Now this came about after Khloe turned down a trip to Paris for Fashion Week because she wanted to be home with her kids. Now last week's episode also documented their family vacation to Aspen, which took place in January. On the trip, Kim called out Khloe for FaceTiming her daughter during their group dinner. Now Kim again was annoyed with this. Kim said in a confessional, "Here we go again, she just is so stuck on what's going on at home that she can't have a good time," before later describing Khloe constantly FaceTiming her kids as annoying. Several viewers of the reality show have since called Kim out for shaming Khloe, and fans have actually done the math and figured out that Khloe was seemingly shading Kim on Instagram around the very same time that they were quietly clashing. Now back in January and February, around the same time as the Aspen trip, Khloe shared multiple quotes that are seemingly aimed at Kim. "20 years from now, the only people who'll remember if you worked late are your kids," one quote read. "Raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power," read another. Then in 2007, Kim and her then boyfriend, Ray J. tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. Now, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape. In late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now, the blame was put on Ray J for releasing the video, but after all these years, Ray J maintains his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything, I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, if that's true, that is just gross. Now, Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in getting her daughter tape released and even took a lie detector test on the James Corden show, but Ray J is still adamant that they did help. Now, looking back, Ray J said he is embarrassed of the tape. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married. Now, Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Now, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by people for their wedding photos alone. They also got $30,000 for their engagement announcement and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and her honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. Now, afterwards though, after 72 days, Kim filed for divorce. Now, Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as the reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now, following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles Fraud Court that Kim had no intention of proceeding with this marriage. It was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. But Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said, "2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with the E! Network, which had TV rights. Otherwise, they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money." Now, after their divorce and sketchy relationship, Kris exposed some of Kim's secrets. Back in 2013, Kris revealed that the proposal for the show was not a surprise and that Kim was aware of it, so the scene where she seemed moved and surprised in is super fake. In fact, Kris went further to say that they had to reshoot the proposal because Kim didn't like her reaction. Kim told Kris how, where, and when to propose. It was absolutely no surprise to her whatsoever, a source told Radar Online. First of all, Kris proposed in the middle of the day, and he had to do that because it would create better lighting to capture the moment. Now, Kim looked surprised but knew it was happening. She was in full hair and makeup, and she's always in on the show. But all of his ideas were shot down by production officials and Kim. Now, another person she got married to was Kanye West. They got married and had 4 children together, and they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month, he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. Now, he also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. In January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. The divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, and after they divorced, Kim dated Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she couldn't remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, and after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's posts, begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that she and her family have had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, at the 2022 Met Gala, Kim arrived in the iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, Kim said the idea of wearing the late actress's dress felt like the perfect representation of America. She was granted special access to wear it as it is kept in a museum, and people did not like this. They thought it was unfair and in poor taste to take the dress of an icon and have Kim wear it. Now, besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. She said, "It was such a challenge, it was like a role, I was determined to fit in it. I'd wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale can do it for a movie role and that is acceptable. It's all the same to me. I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." Now, her losing all that weight in a short period of time though really rubbed people the wrong way. And finally, we have Kim's short-lived feud with Chloe Grace Moretz. In July 2016, when Kim had her own celebrity feud going on with Taylor Swift, she posted her supposed proof on Snapchat of Taylor lying, and fans went crazy. This annoyed Chloe Grace Moretz though, who tweeted, "Everyone in the industry needs to get their heads out of a hole and look around and realize what's actually happening in the real world. Stop wasting your voice on something so petulant and unimportant." Minutes later, jumping to her big sister's defense, Khloe Kardashian responded with a collage of pictures. Now, the first picture was of Khloe Grace at the beach, and the next photo was a photo of an unknown blonde-haired woman who she presumably thought was Khloe in the sea suffering an embarrassing and revealing bikini mishap. Now, Khloe Kardashian captioned the image, "Is this the hole you're referring to?" at Khloe G. Moretz, and Khloe straight away tweeted back, "Fact check, first photo is me filming my movie Neighbors 2, the second photo is some girl who was wrongly photographed." But this feud didn't end there though. In 2016, Kim turned heads for sharing a full frontal nude selfie with only black bars to protect her modesty on Twitter. She captioned the photo with, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, lol." Then, out of nowhere, Khloe responded to the picture by commenting, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Now, Kim didn't take this lying down and replied back, "Let's all welcome at Khloe G. Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo."
Keeping secrets can destroy careers. The Kardashians have learned that the hard way. Here are the top 10 Kardashian secrets that destroyed their careers. Kris Jenner and Robert Kardashian, they essentially had the perfect life. Kris and Robert had 4 children together, they lived in a beautiful home in Beverly Hills, and Robert had a great job as a wealthy entrepreneur and lawyer. But Kris admitted that she felt that something was missing when she was introduced to professional soccer player Todd Waterman, who was 10 years younger than her. She became involved in an affair. Kris said, "When you're very young, you do a lot of stupid things. It's probably the biggest regret of my life that I ended up having an affair. I was probably just really naive and stupid and restless and didn't realize that marriage has its ups and downs. Sometimes people think the grass is always greener, and that was like what I think I went through at some point." The bombshell revelation first came out in her memoir called Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian. Khloe later revealed that the affair destroyed her dad and it had a terrible effect on the family. For Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom, it was pretty much love at first sight. The pair tied the knot in September of 2009 after just a month of dating. But Khloe's only marriage unfortunately ended in disaster. Relatively soon into the marriage, it was revealed that not only did Lamar have a serious substance misuse problem, but he also admitted to being with countless other women during the relationship. The couple divorced shortly after he was found unconscious in a brothel. According to Lamar, dating a Kardashian is hard, so hard that it made him cheat on his ex-wife multiple times during their marriage. He said, "When I became Khloe Kardashian's man on TV, it made me look more enticing." As a result, he claimed, thoughts came out of the woodwork. "If there is one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. That wasn't the stand-up thing to do. I wish I could have kept my D in my pants." Next up, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. In 2015, Scott was spotted getting handsy with stylist Chloe Bartoli while in Monte Carlo. It wasn't long after that Kourtney announced she was splitting from the father of her 3 kids. Following Following the affair, Scott came clean to the family, saying, "I've apologized to Kourtney 100 times, but I've never apologized to all of you for letting all of you down and embarrassing you guys." So it was obvious that he had trouble remaining committed to Kourtney. The two broke up briefly after this incident and then got back together, but continued to have a rocky relationship. First, her sister, Kim, caught a girl hiding in Scott's bathroom in Dubai, and finally, the eldest Kardashian invited Scott on a family vacation to Costa Rica. He ended up sneaking a girl into his hotel room while he was trying to reunite with his ex. This final incident is what prompted Kardashian to tell Scott they were never ever getting back together. The reality star came under fire for promoting Flat Tummy Co.'s appetite suppressant lollipops to her millions of Instagram followers. She posted a picture of herself with the diet ad candy and wrote, "They're literally unreal." While Kim has posted sponsored ads for weight loss products before, things like meals replacement shakes, the whole appetite suppressant thing falls into a different, far more contentious category. The lollipops contain an extract from natural plants that is said to control cravings, food intake, and weight. But while the active ingredient is technically safe, many nutrition experts agree that appetite suppressants are a short-term, ultimately ineffective diet strategy that can promote harmful eating habits and aggravate already existing disorders. The fact that the company's product comes in lollipop form seems geared towards a younger consumer, which just makes it all the more troubling. Manhattan-based nutritionist Maria Marlowe criticized the move and said Kim is an incredible marketeer and brander, and many young women look up to her. But this is sending the wrong messages that being hungry is bad, that our bodies need to be controlled, and that the route to our ideal body comes in candy form. Not only that, but relying on a suppressant is a distraction from focusing on a healthy diet and exercise. It's not a great option in the long term. Although Kim is used to making questionable fashion choices, many felt that she sank to a new low when she decided to wear the famous Marilyn dress. This historical item was actually worn by Marilyn Monroe herself while she was singing Happy Birthday to President Kennedy in 1962. It was lent out to her by Ripley's Museum. Scott Fortner, a collector, shared photos of the dress in a blog post after Kim had returned it, which appeared to show stretched fabric and missing crystals on the back. Not only that, but while being interviewed on the red carpet, she said that when she first tried the dress on, it didn't fit her. So to ensure that the delicate fabric wouldn't tear, she dropped 16 pounds ahead of the event in order to squeeze into it. She then changed into a replica dress once she got to the entrance of the party because she couldn't walk up the museum steps of the Met Gala without ripping the original. But the fact she was even allowed to wear it was enough to anger fans everywhere. It was bought by Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in a 2016 auction for $4.8 million and is usually kept in a darkened, temperature-controlled vault at 40 to 50% humidity to preserve the delicate fabric. So of course, people were fuming that Kim permanently damaged the dress, especially because when you consider the design of it, the fabric is literally irreparable. Kim's union with NBA player Kris Humphries has gone down in history as one of the shortest in Hollywood. This has led to some fans to question whether it was made for TV, specifically after the two-part E! special called Kim's Fairy Tale Wedding. The Los Angeles Times even reported that Kim had only married him to increase ratings on the show. But in 2017, the reality star admitted to Andy Cohen that she knew the marriage was doomed from the beginning. It turns out that she only rushed into it because of the pressure of turning 30. There were also signs that their marriage was going to end quickly. A few days before Kim divorced Kris on day 68, the couple were spotted arguing in their car while they were out on a dinner date in Hollywood. They were photographed heading back to Kim's car, and you could visibly see the tension in the air. Kris looked fed up, and Kim was giving him the death stare while yelling and waving her hand. This very public fight was indicative that the relationship was on the rocks. In the divorce, Kris asked for $7 million of a settlement. Otherwise, he threatened to make Kim go through an ugly public trial. But he ended up walking away with literally nothing. In 2018, photos of Tristan having an affair surfaced online while he was dating Khloe. To make matters worse, she was 9 months pregnant at the time. Not long after, TMZ came out with video footage dating back to October of 2017 that showed the NBA player kissing two other random women at a club. Despite the fact that there was now hard evidence of Tristan cheating on Khloe, without really attempting to hide it, they decided to stay together for the birth of their child. But things did not stay smooth forever. In 2019, reports surfaced that Tristan had cheated on Khloe once again, this time with none other than Jordyn Woods, who was a close friend of the family, seeing that she was Kylie Jenner's best friend and roommate. Anonymous party attendees told TMZ that the pair were all over each other and made out several times throughout the night. The explosive incident almost broke up the family entirely, and as a result, multiple relationships were ruined. Last September, Kris Jenner went went on The Late Late Show with James Corden, where she was strapped to a lie detector and interviewed about the infamous tape that was released in 2007 of Kim Kardashian and Ray J. Kris denied the year-long speculation that she was involved in its production. Once the results came back, it seemed as though she was telling the truth. Of course, Kim kept up with this narrative too, but neither of them had expected Ray J to respond to the interview. He appeared on Instagram Live with a full presentation to prove that she was lying. He showed screenshots of text messages that Kanye West had sent him asking for the original tapes because he wanted to give them back to Kim. In response, Ray J said, "I got 2 kids and a tech company. Why would I involve myself in this? I'm so past this, bro. I'm assuming you know the full story from 05, right? How it happened, who brokered the deal, who put it all together, etc." This is when Ray J made the most shocking revelation ever. He said, "Kris Jenner is the one who made us shoot the second tape in Santa Barbara." He then claimed that Kris orchestrated the filming of the last tape and even watched them to decide which was best. Kim K came under fire when she bought the iconic cross necklace that was worn by Princess Diana for $197,000. 4 people competed in a bidding war, but Kim ended up winning the auction after 5 minutes. The amethyst cross is a 1920s pendant by a luxury jewelry designer, which Diana wore on many occasions. The cross-shaped pendant features large amethyst stones framed by a 5.2 carat diamond. After news of the purchase came out, Kim started trending on Twitter as everyone was jumping to create their own Kim Kardashian has purchased meme as a way to make fun of the historical artifacts she had bought. They have quoted Kim as saying, "I just did what needed to be done." Kim and Scott Disick are being sued for $40 million after they were accused of hatching a contest scam and fooling innocent people. The lawsuit alleges that the two created a fake lottery in 2020 and announced that the winner will get $100,000 and 2 first-class tickets to LA, as well as a 3-night stay in Beverly Hills, and they could shop like Kim. But turned out this was all fake. The filing claims it says that Kim and Scott worked with an Australian company, Curated, to sell the personal information of the players to advertisers. Apparently, the winners of the contest were announced, but their Instagram handles were quickly made private, which raised a few red flags. The people that did enter the contest and lost were then invaded by hundreds of advertisers, soliciting them with potentially offensive and unwanted content. However, the Australian company has said that the contest is legitimate and there is legal paperwork to back it. Both Kim and Scott have yet to comment on the lawsuit.
Number 10. Kim's nannies. Kim Kardashian is arguably one of the most famous of the Kardashian sisters, and it would also seem she's the busiest. For example, Kim has 4 kids, a skincare line, her Skims brand, she's attending law school, co-founded an equity team, and even recently hopped on the podcast train. In addition to filming her new reality show on Hulu. You may be asking yourself, how does one woman do all of that by herself? Well, she pays people to do it for her, duh. She has multiple assistants and nannies to help her stay above the overwhelming workload, but has been known to treat them as lesser than herself. For instance, on several occasions, Kim and her daughter North would go to lunch, accompanied by a nanny. But Kim would always make her nanny sit at a separate table far away from them when they were in restaurants. But she is known to make her nannies also walk at least like 10 feet away from her at all times. Unless she has multiple nannies with her at once, then she likes to make them stand in like a V formation because it looks cool apparently. If they walk near her or attempt to try and walk side by side, she blows up at them behind closed doors. And needless to say, she has had many nannies over the year and has probably made a lot of them cry at least once. Number 9. Kourtney in general. While Kim may not be the best boss in the world, it's Kourtney who is known as the absolute worst boss of all time. According to former nannies, Kourtney was by far the worst Kardashian to work for. Not only is she a neat freak, needing every single thing to be exactly where it should be, but she's also known for being surprisingly cheap, even once calling a grocery store while she was shopping to compare the prices of a chicken breast. Because, if anyone needs that extra 99 cents, it's Kourtney. But this isn't the worst thing she's done. At one time, Kourtney's daughter had bitten a nanny so hard that she had to quit. But instead of letting it go and taking responsibility for not teaching her daughter how to act properly, she actually berated the nanny and told her that she should have said something to her daughter in the moment. Cause yes, blame the woman that you're paying to raise your child instead of the child itself, who's probably got some kind of an abandonment issue. Number 8. Toxic chemicals. Kylie Jenner is the youngest of the Kardashian clan, is extremely successful for her age. In 2019, she made the cover of Forbes magazine as the youngest self-made billionaire ever, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta, a beauty salon company, which would allow the brand previously only available online and in random pop-up stores to be placed on shelves in Ulta's 1,000 plus stores. This is unfortunate considering the true nature of just where those products come from. You see, many employees at the factory that mix and package her makeup have reported that they were never given any proper safety equipment that one would require to do that job. They were only given hairnets, lab coats, and safety goggles, leaving their hands and faces completely exposed. And workers would regularly report migraines, mild chemical burns on their hands, and a myriad of other symptoms. If this isn't bad enough, they were also forced to act as human test subjects for Kylie's new products. Now, Kylie was very proud of her company not testing products on animals, but we can agree that using people like guinea pigs is like a billion times worse, right guys? Number 7. The underpay. While the Kardashians have had their problems with staff individually, there seems to be one specifically toxic trait that the family shares as a unit. They don't like to pay people. Former employees have come forward over the years calling out the family for not paying them fair wages or overtime hours. The Kardashians don't cover expenses, meaning gas, food, rent, anything that you need is paid out of pocket, with zero money coming back to you. To make matters worse, the Kardashians wouldn't pay them on a set amount of days, meaning you just kinda got a check when you got a check and had to deal with it in between A and B. You would think with the family being one of the richest in the world that they would at least pay the people that help run their lives. Now, while they have a massive staff of people cooking their food, folding their clothes, and raising their children, they barely even acknowledge their existence. Just imagine what would happen if that staff decided to walk out. The family would crumble in less than a day. Number 6. Factory workers. Popping back to Kylie's makeup factory for a moment, we felt the need to split her misdoings into 2 separate entries simply because of just how messed up this place really is. Not only do they not have proper safety equipment and are basically used as human test subjects whenever Kylie wants, the factory itself is small and cramped, with many employees claiming that there were too many workers and not enough space. This description sounds very similar to, a sweatshop, which is a word describing a workplace in which the employees work ridiculous hours and brutal conditions for nearly nothing for pay, and a lot of people agreed with that statement. One former tester recounts having to constantly go back and forth to the bathroom as her anxiety was always through the roof. She was around so many people so much of her day, and it was such a terrible work environment. We completely understand the need to escape. At one point a few years back, Kylie even refused to pay her employees at a garment factory in Bangladesh, leaving thousands of employees with no money and no idea when or if they were going to return to work. Man, you know what? You suck, Kylie. Number 5. Victoria. Victoria Valero has been Kylie's close personal assistant since 2015, but the pair go back to 2014 when she was interning as a personal assistant for Kylie's mother, Kris. After gaining the family's trust, she was hired as Kylie's house manager at first, but soon after became her personal assistant. Herself and Jenner became very close over the years, and Victoria was even present at the secret birth of Kylie's daughter, Stormi. Now, you would think with being so close to the family through thick and thin that she would want to stick around, right? Well, all good things must come to an end, as Victoria decided to quit in 2019. Many fans allege that she had just quit her job to focus on becoming an Instagram influencer, but that was far from her real reason for leaving. Being in that family means seeing a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff, and Victoria was basically in charge of scheduling Kylie's life, booking appointments, meetings, massages, all of this stressful enough, basically being a 24/7 gig, but the job was also very degrading, with Kylie having Victoria even pull out a stool once and set it up outside so that Kylie could get out of her car smoother. I think anyone in their right mind would want to get out of that job as quickly as possible. Number 4. Paid in exposure. When Andre Turbia, a very famous YouTube animator and content creator, was asked to work with Kylie Jenner, he thought that his life would change forever. He was under the impression that the collaboration would grant him a huge amount of money, possibly a guest spot on her reality TV show, and maybe some shoutouts online via Instagram and Twitter. However, when Andre brought up the topic of his compensations to Jenner, she responded with, the company doesn't actually have a budget right now to pay you, so we're just gonna have to pay you in exposure. Like, okay, that's cool. You can't cook exposure in a frying pan and eat it for dinner though, and I'm pretty sure it's not currency accepted at any gas stations or banks that I know of. And of course, by exposure, she meant that Andre's name was going to be printed as small as possible underneath her content. Andre did what anyone in their right mind would do in that situation and refused to work with her, telling her to take her exposure and shove it where the sun don't shine. Number 3, GoFundMe. In March 2021, Kylie, oh look, she's back again, shared an Instagram post asking for prayers for one of her makeup artists named Samuel Rhoda. The post redirected fans to a GoFundMe page where they were asking to donate money for covering his medical bills for an upcoming surgery. That's right, the woman made a feature on Forbes' top 60 self-made women and was asking her fans to give over the goods. So why would she not just use some of her billions of dollars to cover the bills herself? Well, she went online to claim that her and Sam didn't actually know each other personally, but she had worked with him a few years ago and thought that he was a sweetheart. Supposedly, her current makeup artist had shared a post about Samuel's accident, which included a link to a GoFundMe campaign created by his family. She went on to let fans know that she herself donated like $5,000. Okay, sure, that's a ton of money for us, but for Jenner that's like $5. So something tells me the surgery is going to be a little bit more than that. This is just another instance proving that Kylie is the absolute worst. Number 2, Forbes flub. Oh, I'm sorry, was that not enough proof for you that Kylie sucks? Well, hey, here you go. As mentioned earlier in this list, Kylie Jenner made the cover of Forbes magazine in 2019 as the youngest self-made billionaire ever, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand, named after herself, and Ulta, a beauty salon company. Well, it turned out that wasn't really the case. Jenner allegedly sold half of her cosmetics company, Kylie Cosmetics, to beauty giant Coty in a deal worth $1.2 billion. Now, this was huge and considered one of the greatest celebrity cash outs of all time. But the first rule of being a famous person is, if you can help it, try not to lie. Especially to like Forbes magazine, who did some digging and revealed that Jenner was actually inflating the size and profit margins of her business. It turned out the cosmetic brand was on a much smaller scale than originally thought, as it was uncovered Jenner only actually made around $314 million after taxes for her company. Several financial advisors backed up the story, claiming that they were berated into complying with the lie and made to help maintain the numbers for publicity's sake. The mother of the family, Kris, even played a key role in gathering false business documents to send to Forbes, making her company appear to be in the billions. Remember, if you can't figure something out, just ask mom. And number 1, the lawsuit. In March of 2021, a lawsuit was arranged by several of Kim's former employees. The plaintiffs claim Kardashian West failed to pay overtime, cover expenses, or provide any legally mandated breaks, which, like, hey, super illegal. They also never received actual pay stubs or any proof of payment whatsoever. They were also made to purchase everything out of pocket, and one plaintiff was even fired on the spot for simply addressing his concerns to Kim. And when the rest were eventually let go, they received no type of severance package or pay of any kind. It was also uncovered that Kim would keep 10% of all of their earnings for tax purposes, but failed to report their employment to tax authorities. Kim's argument was that she could not be held responsible for any of this, as most of her employees were supposedly hired and paid by a third-party company, meaning that she herself was not technically their direct employer and therefore could not be liable. Kim maintains that she paid people on time and that they were suing the wrong person, but if that were the case, maybe Kardashian would have used some of her high status and influence long ago to make things work for her staff so that, hey, maybe she wouldn't be getting sued right now. Something to think about, Kim.
And at number 10, Kim Kardashian's tape. This is truly the scandal that started it all, and the Kardashians arguably would not be where they are today without the release of this tape. Right before Keeping Up with the Kardashians was set to air on E!, the intimate tape of Kim and her then boyfriend Ray J was leaked to the public and went insanely viral. The Kardashians got in a legal battle to try and get it under control, but it didn't work, and the tape was eventually sold to a media company and released. Kim said about the tape in a 2012 interview, quote, "I'm not naive to the fact that that's pretty much how I was introduced to the world. It was a negative way, so I felt like I really had to work 10 times harder to get people to see the real me. I felt humiliated." In the year since its release, it's been long rumored that the Kardashian family leaked the tape themselves to drum up publicity and a storyline for the show. And if that's the case, it totally worked. And at number 9, Kylie Jenner's lips. Kylie Jenner was once considered the ugly duckling of the Jenner sisters, and she was not treated the same way as the rest of her family. Because of her insecurities, she's gotten a lot of procedures and has become unrecognizable from her former self. However, following all these procedures, she is now considered one of the most beautiful women in the world. Kylie's first procedure was lip injections, and it was hard to deny that there was a huge difference in the size of her lips basically overnight. At first, she denied it and claimed it was all lip liner, but the public isn't stupid and we all knew it was a lie. Then later in 2017, she decided to fess up to the change and admitted she got lip filler because of an insecurity about the size of her lips. Later, she turned all the talk about her lips into a billion-dollar business, selling her Kylie lip kits, which was the first of its kind. In at number 8, Kim and Kris Humphrey's 72-day marriage. Kim's lavish wedding was considered the wedding of the century, and there was even a 2-part special created on E! To celebrate the big day. But since so much content was created out of the relationship, many questioned if the whole thing was just for show. Those accusations got even worse when it was revealed that Kim filed for divorce only 72 days after their lavish wedding. Kris even sued Kim at one point, claiming the relationship was fraudulent just for press. However, Kim clarified on a May 2017 appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen that she knew the marriage was doomed from the beginning. Quote, "I just thought, holy shit, I'm 30 years old, I better get this together, I better get married." And at number 7, Lamar Odom cheated on Khloe. This one truly breaks my heart because Khloe and Lamar were one of my favorite couples of all time. But sadly, this was when Khloe's bad luck with men would really start. It was revealed that during their marriage, Lamar cheated on Khloe countless times. They were married from 2009 to 2016, and in that time Lamar claims he slept with hundreds of women. He claimed later that he had a sex addiction. Khloe shared her thoughts on the news in a 2016 interview with Howard Stern. Khloe said, quote, "I was genuinely blown away. Like, when did he fit that in? I don't know." Then in an interview Lamar did in 2017, he revealed that after he got married to Khloe, women came out of the woodwork to try and be with him. Lamar added, quote, "If there's one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. That wasn't the stand-up thing to do." Lamar later said he would get back with Khloe in a heartbeat. And at number 6, Kendall Jenner's Pepsi ad. Being in a Pepsi ad is a really high honor, and tons of celebrities like Michael Jackson and Cindy Crawford had the honor to be a part of one. So when the opportunity was presented to Kendall Jenner, she jumped at the chance. But it ended up causing the biggest scandal of her entire career. She was a part of a protest-themed ad in 2017 because at that time the Black Lives Matter movement was being heavily discussed in the media, and there was a lot of tension between protesters and law enforcement. But of course, using an important social movement to sell a can of soda rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and Pepsi and Kendall got tons of backlash. Pepsi pulled the commercial and issued an apology, while Jenner told Vogue in March of 2018 that her quote intention was not to hurt anyone, but it's still a huge stain on her reputation. Halfway at number 5, Kendall and Kylie's t-shirts. One of the many business ventures the Kardashians developed was a clothing line for Kendall and Kylie, simply named after themselves. The clothing line was pretty successful until the girls released an incredibly insensitive t-shirt showcasing the faces of deceased artists like the Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur. After the release in 2017, Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, called the sisters out on Instagram, writing, quote, "The disrespect of these girls to not even reach out to me or anyone connected to the estates baffles me." Paris Jackson also commented on how tone-deaf the release was. Paris took to Twitter and wrote in part, quote, "As a huge fan of Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Floyd, I mean these bands literally helped shape who I am today. I can't condone this fashion. Legends like these who completely changed our world today, not just the music world, should be respected and honored, not turned into this." A photographer who shot one of the images also filed a lawsuit against the Jenners, but it was dropped in April of 2018, and the sisters pulled the shirts almost immediately. And at number 4, Kim's blackface scandal. Cultural appropriation and blackfishing are something the Kardashians are called out for pretty often. The worst backlash on this subject was when Kim released a campaign for KKW Beauty, and fans accused her of blackface. This is because in the photo, her skin color was significantly darker than what we usually see. Kim immediately took down the photos and apologized. She later told the New York Times, quote, "I would obviously never want to offend anyone. I used an amazing photographer and a team of people. I was really tan when we shot the images, and it might be that contrast was off." Kim then re-edited the photos to be more natural, and the launch went off without a hitch. And at number 3, Tristan Thompson cheats on Khloe. Sadly, cheating is something that Khloe has had to deal with throughout her entire relationship with Tristan. At first, when they got together, everyone was thrilled and he seemed like a great guy. But then, right before Khloe was set to give birth in 2018, leaked video showed that Tristan was out cheating on Khloe at a club. At the time, she was 9 months pregnant, and sadly she learned that he was nothing but a cheater who was not ready for commitment. A source close to Thompson told us exclusively, quote, "None of his friends are surprised by this and they all know that he cheats." Then more photos came out showing him taking a girl into his hotel room late at night, meaning this was clearly a pattern and not the first time. Khloe decided to stay with Tristan for the sake of her family, but this would not be the last time that he publicly embarrassed her. And at number 2, Tristan cheats on Khloe again. The phrase "once a cheater, always a cheater" is most fitting here, because after getting back with Khloe, Tristan cheated once again. To make matters worse, he cheated with close family friend of the Kardashians, Jordan Woods. After this, Khloe was quick to call it quits. A source said, quote, "This time it hurts even more because the person who it was with is someone who knows very much what Khloe has gone through in the past year." A second insider said that Thompson is, quote, "just a cheater and doesn't care about anyone besides himself, his wants and his needs in the moment." Jordan went on Red Table Talk after the scandal and confessed that they did kiss, but nothing more. Then unfortunately, after some time apart, Tristan and Khloe got back together in August of 2020, but have split again since. And finally at number 1, Kanye's presidential run. This scandal is unfortunate because at first it had nothing to do with the Kardashians, but during one of Kanye's campaign rallies, he spilled some major secrets about his relationship with Kim. The worst was when Kanye exposed that he and Kim almost terminated the pregnancy with their first child, North. A source told Us Weekly that the Skims founder was, quote, "deeply upset with Kanye for talking about their personal life and for making matters that are very personal to them and their family public." Then Kanye went off on Twitter, revealing even more secrets and even accusing Kim of cheating with rapper Meek Mill. 6 months later, Kim filed for divorce. Apparently, the pair had been living separate lives for many months, and Kim was just done dealing with Kanye's unpredictable behavior.